after Suresh's opening remarks, and with a distinguished panel like this, someone who has been trying to grapple with ambiguity and ambivalence, the only thing such a person can do is to wait and see what the distinguished panelists have to say. So may I request Maulana Wahiduddin Sahab to make his presentation. Maulana.
Thank you very much. I think that the present theme is very important. I can say that I have a special interest in this theme. I have participated a number of this kind of dialogue in India as well as abroad. Now, according to my study, I can say that the history of religious thought tells us a very interesting story in this regard. You know, in the olden days, when there were kings and emperors, at that time there were religious persecutions everywhere in the world. So there were religious wars. But then we see a change in the history, and people became more and more interested in debate. But again, I would like to say that debate is not very good, because debate always generates hate. So I don't think that anything that generates hate is good for us. But fortunately, we are living now in the age of science. Scientific revolution has changed everything, and we can see a very obvious influence of science on religion. So now, under the influence of science, you see that everywhere in the world of religion, they speak of dialogue. Dialogue is very recent phenomena. In previous years, there was no such dialogues. So I appreciate this trend, and it's very good news for a man like myself, that dialogue is a very positive activity. Dialogue is an intellectual activity in positive sense. So I welcome this initiative. Now, coming on the theme, I would like to say that first of all, we have to evolve a formula in this regard. According to my study, there are two basic formula available among religious people. One that I may call is based on mutual recognition. By mutual recognition, I mean that I am true, you are also true. So both are true. This is mutual recognition. Then the second formula is based on mutual respect. That although maybe there are difference between me and you, but we both would respect to each other. So as far as myself is concerned, I believe that there are very deep kind of differences among different religions. You cannot overlook these differences. So this kind of formula which is based on mutual recognition, is not tenable. It is not feasible. You may talk in this term, but I don't think that you can convince the other party that there is no difference between me and you, because the difference is very, very clear, very, very clear. So, as far as my thinking is concerned, I believe in the formula of mutual respect, and this is the Islamic formula. You know, in the Quran, there is a very relevant verse in these words. Lakum deenukum waliya deen. This is a Quranic verse. Lakum deenukum waliya deen. It means that for you, your religion, for me, mine. For you, your religion, for me, mine. Generally, people speak of two periods of prophetic life. They say that in Mecca, Prophet was not in power. There was no political power with the party of Prophet. But in Medina, he became political head. And the thing were different from that which was Mecca. But it is a fallacy, it is a misunderstanding. Because according to the scriptures, the same formula was applied in Medina also when Prophet was in power. In Mecca, this verse was revealed to Prophet that lakum deenukum waliya deen. For you, your religion, for me, mine. And when he settled in Medina, so as a political head, he issued a declaration. This declaration is called Sahifatul Medina. In Islamic history, you can read it, you can find it in these words, Sahifatul Medina. Sahifatul Medina means Medina declaration. In this declaration, in Medina, Prophet added this provision that at that time, there were, Medina was a multi-religious society. So, Prophet added this provision in that declaration that lil Yahud deenuhum walil Muslimin deenuhum. For Jew, their religion, for Muslim, their religion. The same formula was applied also in Medina, where Prophet was in power. So I can say that Islamic formula is based on this principle that follow one and respect all. Follow one and respect all. This is the Islamic formula about this situation. Then I would like to narrate a very relevant story which throws more light on the subject. The Prophet of Islam migrated Mecca and settled in Medina in 622. At that time, Medina was a multi-religious society. So some Jewish tribes were also living over there. So what happened? One day, the Prophet saw a funeral procession passing through a street in Medina. Prophet was seated at that time. On seeing the funeral, the Prophet stood up in respect. One of his companions said, "O Prophet, it was funeral of a Jew, not a Muslim." The Prophet replied, "Alaysat nafsan, was he not a human being?" Here you can see that the Prophet was able to discover a commonality between himself and that non-Muslim. This is the true Islamic spirit. Then I want to add one more point that although there are differences among different religions, it is a fact. You cannot deny this fact. But difference is not an evil. The point is here. People generally think that difference is an evil. No, difference is a part of this is a part of nature. Part of nature. One scholar has rightly said that nature abhors uniformity. So everywhere there are differences. Everywhere there are differences. Nature is based on difference. So we have to learn the art of difference management rather than art of eliminating the differences, because elimination of difference is not possible. So we have to adopt the formula of difference management. Then there is another point. Difference is not an evil. Instead, it is a blessing. Blessing. Why? Because it is difference that creates challenge, that creates competition, that creates discussion, that creates dialogue. And only through dialogue and discussion we can achieve the intellectual development. If there is no difference, there is no intellectual progress. So difference is a part of nature because it is difference that is only way to find the intellectual development. Someone has rightly said that where everyone thinks alike, no one thinks very much. So difference is a blessing. Nature creates differences, creates competition, creates challenge, because it is this situation which leads to intellectual development, which leads to spiritual development. So Islam recognizes difference. And I can say that during Prophet's life, there was a trilogue in Medina. Perhaps it was the first trilogue in the history. It was held in Medina in the very mosque that is called Medina Mosque. In this trilogue, participants were three religions: Muslims and Christians and Jew. So you can say that it was a trilogue. So three religions engaged in discussion in the mosque itself. Although in history more details are not available, so I cannot say what happened during this discussion, but it is fact, and our early books tell us that this trilogue was held in Medina Mosque. There is no doubt about it, although the details are not available in present books. Then I can say one more point. Nowadays, there are widespread, I may call, rumor that Islam is a religion of violence. I read an article in the Times of London about Islam. The caption was, "A religion that sanctions violence." I think it is quite baseless. I have studied Islam from its original sources, from Arabic books, Quran, Hadith, and everything. I can say that in Islam, peace is the rule and war is an exception. I can say with conviction that in Islam, peace is the rule and war is an exception. There is a verse in the Quran, "As-sulhu khair." reconciliation is the best. It means that when there are controversy, you have to adopt the conciliatory course rather than confrontational course. So this is the true Islamic teachings. And there is a hadith, Wallahi la yuminu, Wallahi la yuminu, Wallahi la yuminu, Allazi la yamanu jaruhu bawaiqahu. It means that he is not a mu'min, he is not a true believer who creates problems for his neighbors. It is the true spirit of Islam. So there are separate kinds of problems, intellectual problem and violent problem. Any kind of problem is prohibited in Islam. Any kind of problem, even intellectual problems. So this is the true spirit of Islam. There is a hadith that al-Muslimu man salama an-nasu bil lisanihi wa yadihi. A true Muslim is one by whose hands and tongue people are safe. Here you can see the true spirit of Islam. According to this hadith, a true Muslim is a peaceful member of his society. A true Muslim is a harmless member of society. This is the true spirit of Islam. Now a few words about jihad, because jihad is also very much related with this subject. Jihad literally means struggle. Quran says, "Wajahidhum bihi jihadan kabira." In this verse, you can see that jihad means peaceful struggle, no violence, peaceful struggle. Then sometimes jihad is used in the sense of war, but is in extended sense. So now I would like to say that in Islam, only defensive war is permitted. Other than defense, no war is permitted in Islam. Then there is a very well established principle in Islam, ar-rahilu lil imam. It means that to declare a war is a prerogative of the head of the state. So according to this, any organization other than state have right to declare a war. So all these wars which you see everywhere in the world, in Muslim world, all are unlawful, because everywhere Muslims are fighting, not state. In some cases, there are some state are involved secretly, but here I would like to say that secret war is also not permitted in Islam. There is a very clear-cut injunction in the Quran, "Fambiz ilayhim ala sawa." It means that if you feel that there are some attack, some aggression from the other side, so you have to declare that I and you are at war from this date. Without declaration, you cannot go to war. So by these details, you can understand that in Islam, only defensive war is permitted, and all other wars like guerrilla war, aggressive war, undeclared war, and proxy war, that is secret war, all these wars are unlawful in Islam. In Islamic word, it is haram, H-A-R-A-M, haram. Haram means unlawful. So I am saying this with conviction because I have studied Islam through its original sources, through Arabic language. And I can say that I have spent my whole life in studying Islam and also other religions. One more point. I have studied different religions. I found that there are two parts of religion. This you can find in every religion. One is its belief system, and the other one is its ethical base or moral teachings. So I found that as far as the moral teachings are concerned, moral teachings means social behavior. Moral teachings are ethical system. So I found that there is no difference at all as far as the ethical system is concerned. There is no difference between this religion and that religion. For example, there is a well-known principle in Hinduism that Vasudev Kutum. The same is you can find in Islam. Al Khalq wa Alullah. Al Khalq wa Alullah means all the all humanity is God's progeny. All men and women are members of God's family. The same you can find in Islam, and the same you can find in Hinduism. But as far as the belief system is concerned, or in other words, theology is concerned, so in theology there are differences. In practical behavior or in moral system or in ethical system, there is no difference at all. Every religion teaches peace. Every religion teaches tolerance. Every religion teaches truthfulness. So is the case of Islam. But as far as the theology is concerned, I can say there are differences. It is a fact. So I would like to say that theology is not concern of common people. It is concern of scholars. So leave it to scholars. Scholars may engage in discussion about the theological differences. But the other side of religion, which is based on character and moral values, so there is no difference at all. So I can say that according to my study and my experience, the best formula is follow one and respect all. This is my own. um, This is this is my formula, and my whole life is based on this formula. So I have adopted this formula: follow one and respect all. Thank you.